The book which I have, Untold Love Story from India by Khushwant Singh. First, we're gonna start what Khushwant Singh says about this book. Khushwant Singh says that when we talk about lovers and love stories, the great celebrated lovers of your like Leila Majnu, Heer Ranjha, Soni Mahiwal, and Mirza Sahiba come to mind. These star-crossed couple were special. There is no doubt about it. And their story will be told for many, many generations to come, probably unto eternity. But somewhere down the line, from those fear town periods they lived in, we have forgotten about the other novel lovers. Those stories were never told. They were buried under the cloak of shame, closeness, or perhaps sheer indifference. Their love was too eternal. So, there in the pages of this book, I have made a heartfelt effort to bring this story to light now. I want to the world celebrate these splendid souls for they are deserving their pure emotions to be known. These people walk the earth of India, born in times of oppressive or just plain wrong for their beating hearts. I have heard these stories over the last many years since I have become a young man ever to ever to step into a love and romance. I have heard them from people of my family members, my friends, and their extended family members, and even complete strangers as I holiday through our rich country. I have to present to the readers, to lovers, and inspirational to let their emotions flow, to feel love, to live in, be there and their beloved, irrespective of everything. For the purpose of our birth on this mountainous land is more than just a race of survival. First story about Ganga Singh and Nazir Khan. So let's start. 200 years ago, Kuchwara, a small town in Madhya Pradesh, was illiterally unknown in British India. At the time, the common man was living in hell. The English East India Company and the Indian Maharajas had joined hands. Their mutual benefits. It was the common man who had to take the brunt of their parasitic aliens to first salute the British rulers, then the Indian Maharajas, and then the local goons. To make life more miserable, there were also a dacoits. Ganga Singh was a dacoit. Locals tell me that their Maharajas, as well as the officers employed by the British government, would tremble when there was the most fleeting mention of Ganga Singh. People would feel a shiver run down their spines when Ganga Singh, along with his group of dacoits, riding wildly on horses, shooting bullets aimlessly, would come to pillage in their village. Along with Kuchwara, almost 100 other small villages and towns in the radius of 70 kilometers fear him. But life changes for everyone, and so it did for Ganga Singh as well. In Kuchwara, there was an iron smith named Karim Khan. He lived there with his wife and four children, three daughters and a son. Life was very tough. Was being able to afford 2 square meal was a distant dream for the poor villagers. Karim Khan used to make small dagger and swords for people, and Ganga Singh was an obvious customer. Destiny played a cheeky game, and one day Nazir Khan, the eldest sister of Karim Khan, accidentally met Ganga Singh at her father's shop. Ganga Singh was always struck by her radiant beauty. From that day, Ganga Singh started to visit Karim Khan's shop for no particular reason at all. It did not take long for Karim Khan to understand what really was on his mind. He knew there was no one who could stop Ganga Singh, so he didn't have any other option but to pray for the safety of honor of his daughter and his family. Every evening, Ganga would visit Karim Khan, but he wouldn't talk much. Most time he would sit in absolute, almost meditative silence. His silence was more dangerous and threatening than his ranting could be ever be. Karim Khan knew that if Ganga was determined to have Nazir as his, then he was in great trouble. The frightening dacoit was capable of shooting him on any given day and taking her, or even all his daughters. away for his disreputable harem. The poor again ironsmith started to live in fear, and after several days of hard thinking, he decided to marry Nazir of a suitable boy. After a month, Karim Khan found a worthy boy of Nazir. His name was Rahmat Khan, a carpenter by profession. The date of engagement was fixed. Ganga heard the news and he went to the Karim Khan at once. The dacoit entered the shop and Karim Khan knew that his worst fear was about to be released. He fainted and collapsed there right there with his daughter Nazir right beside him. Nazir knew why her father had gone so pale, and in a mad burst of rage, she screamed Abba and slapped Ganga Singh several times, wanting to draw the life out of him. But it was too late. Karim Khan had left his body, and now his family could do nothing but curse Ganga Singh for their misfortunate. Ganga joined his hand and begged for forgiveness. He told Nazir's mother that he had only come there to talk them. All he had wanted to say was that he loved Nazir and that he wanted to marry her. Nazir was in fact witness that he had not said anything to Karim Khan at all. He desperately wanted them. He believed him. They believed him. But Nazir could not be rational when she saw her father dead in front of her. You are not human, but a devil that feeds on the death of other. She spat out of him. This was a terrible jolt for Ganga. Nazir didn't let it rest there and continued. A loving person can die for his loved ones, but cannot hurt anyone. Ganga Singh removed his turban and placed gently the feet of Karim Khan's dead body. He wiped his burning eyes and left. The gun and blanket that he kept on the threshold of Karim Khan's shop were still there. 4 days no one heard about him. But news of Ganga Singh disbanding his gang of everywhere. After a few days, a cobbler was mending shoes outside the village mosque, but no one noticed that he worked there, slept there, and eat there. One day, Nazir and her younger sister went to the market to buy something. On their on their way home, they went to the cobbler to have Nazir's sandal mended. The cobbler opened his toolbox and offered her a piece of soft Kashmiri cloth to stand on. While he worked on her sandal, Nazir realized that the cloth was brand new, quite like he may have just bought it for himself for a coming winters. But she stood on it anyway to protect herself from the dusty ground. The cobbler, the cobbler started working, and Nazir was busy talking to her sister. After a while, her sister noticed a drop of water on the sandal. She realized that the cobbler was crying, and those drops were tears, but she didn't react. He mended the sandal and extended his hands to put them on Nazir's feet. Only then did real Only then did Nazir realize that the cobbler was none other than Ganga Singh. As she was about to give him money, he declined vehemently. Nazir and her sister was wearing the burqa, so she was surprised that Ganga had managed to identify her. She thanked him for the work and drove and threw a 1 anna coin on his toolkit and hardly walked there. Her sister noticed that Ganga Singh had not even looked towards the coin, but had instead grabbed that piece of cloth and looked on the marks made by Nazir's feet with immense love and longing. Then he had hugged it to himself and cried. Days turned to a month, and Ganga was still work there. Many people appreciated his decision to make a fresh start, and many abused him and humiliated him. He never talked to anyone, and no one come to meet him, and he never went anywhere. Then one day a traveller come along with a few friends and relatives to Kuchwara. It was Rahmat Khan. It was his engagement with Nazir Khan, which had been postponed by few months due to the demise of Karim Khan. They stayed at Karim Khan's house and marriage date was fixed coming month. Winter arrived and they were ruthless. The nights were getting darker and the colder. Ganga Singh was trying to mend his small town tent and protect himself from the chilly winds. He noticed the two women in burqa coming towards him, their shadow getting bigger and bigger against the light of the huge earthen lamp placed on the high wall of the mosque. It was Nazir. She gave Ganga Singh a hand-knit sweater and the and her almond-shaped eyes confessed her feeling to him. No one talked, but 1,000 words were exchanged in the single moment. As she went back, Ganga realized that the small piece of paper was hidden inside the sweater. It was letter from Nazir. This sweater was worn with prayer of my Ganga, my love, my breath for you, my every heartbeat yearn for you. You change yourself for me. But as far as the wishes of my late Abba, I have to marry Rahmat Khan. Forgive me for my decision. It's a tribute for my loving father. I know God bless my Ganga with immense power and he can do anything for me. But give me permission to marry this man. I know my Ganga is very comp- compassionate and he will forgive me for this. If you wear this sweater, then I will know that you are with me and at least you're Nazir. Next morning, Ganga was mending shoes and he was wearing this sweater. Nazir crossed his path and coming from the mosque and two tears rolled down her cheeks as she smiled at Ganga. Her tears approvaled in a second, just like drops do at the glimpse of the sun. It was the wedding day, and the groom arrived with his position. Now it was time to Nazir to leave her new home. The dolly was waiting to Nazir step into it. Suddenly, sound of crash, yelling, firing, and bullets. Horses' hooves fills the air. Everybody was calm. This was very common in this village. Dacoits kept the loot, newlyweds as they were carrying cash and jewelry. But they went straight to Ganga and shoot him down with four bullets, fire at point blank range. It was the new chief of dacoits, Subedar Resham Singh, an old enemy of Ganga Singh. He threatened anyone with their consequences if they dare perform the dacoits' last rites. They left in a second without harming anyone else, but single scream ended that affair in pin drop silence. Nazir left her body and met Ganga in other world. No one touched Ganga Singh's body, but all wept by Nazir. Nazir's younger sister was the only one with guts in the huge gathering and started drug drugged Ganga Singh's body and lay down it next to Nazir. She covered their dead bodies, the same blanket that Ganga Singh had left at the Karim Khan's threshold, and buried them in single pit without taking anyone's help. After a few days, tiny sapling grew from the place where those lovers were buried. Everyone said it was the offspring of Ganga Singh and Nazir Khan, and soon it became a huge tree. It is believed that 4 years after, lovers would tie a thread around the stem of the tree, praying for eternal love, like the love of Ganga Singh and his Nazir.